In 2018, I decided to try to beat Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U without touching a single coin. This was just a silly idea I had at the time, and it became the first episode of my most popular series on the channel. The thing is, this first video is pretty old, the quality is meh, and nowadays, well, Super Mario 3D World is available on the Switch with a few tweaks, a faster speed, and some quality of life improvement. I decided that today I will try to beat the Switch version of 3D World without touching a single coin. The rules are simple. We are going to be playing Super Mario 3D World from beginning to end, and all of this without touching a single yucky coin. You see this lovely coin counter on the top left over there? Well, we want to keep it at 0 for the entire challenge. Will it be possible? I don't know. Let's find out together. Alright. Well, after going through the clear pipe and looking at Princess Peach's underwear, Mario, we'll arrive in the first world and we'll quickly run to the first stage. World 1-1 was actually quite simple, but I have to admit it does feature a bunch of coins that move around and I kinda don't like it. One tricky thing I forgot to mention is that in order to progress through the levels, we have to collect green stars, as they are needed to open up later levels. Collecting those often means getting dangerously close to yucky coins, which ups the difficulty quite a bit. Luckily, this first level wasn't too bad and I cleared it quickly. 1-2 actually taught me a lot of things that I will need to know for this challenge. First off, defeating an enemy by jumping on their head is bound to give me a yucky coin, so I will have to refrain from doing that. Thankfully, it seems that using my cat suit and my claws will make a coin spawn, but I can just run away from it, so that's good. Second, I also learned that if I touch a yucky coin, I can't just press the restart level button, because it keeps my illegal coin. So now I am forced to actually reload the whole game if I mess up, which wastes a lot of time. I also learned that when I grab the flagpole, if an enemy is too close to it, it will spontaneously explode into a yucky coin that will be given to me, which sucks a lot. That means that if enemies are close to the flagpole, well, I have to defeat them, wait for their yucky coin to despawn, and then I can grab onto the flagpole. Well, I learned a lot from this level, and it wasn't even a tricky one, like the coins are super easy to dodge here. It's just all of the wacky coin giving mechanics that the game features that are giving me a headache. Anyways, 1-A is next, and it's a simple fighting level against charging Chucks. Let's just use the catsuit and defeat them all like we did with the Koopas from 1-2. Wait a minute, why am I given 3 coins for defeating them? Well, you know what? Forgot everything I said about defeating enemies with a catsuit to avoid collecting a coin. It works with the Koopa Troopas, but not with the charging Chucks. Why? I have no clue. Go ask Reggie Nintendo.
My body is ready.
I went back to 1-2, got myself a fire flower, and decided to try this instead. I mean, if the fireball kills the Chuck, there's no way I'm getting the yucky coin. Okay, well the coin falls down on the floor, and I can avoid picking them up. Good. Okay, well I guess from now on, we're always traveling with a fire flower. 1-3 was actually not too bad. It does feature a few coins on our way to the top, but they're all easy to dodge. I even got in the cloud bonus level and managed to get a green star while avoiding all of the coins, which felt a bit wrong, but hey, it worked. To defeat this big plant here, I used my trusty fire flower and I was all good. 1-4 is the first Plessie level, and riding her is kind of fun. You just have to make sure to avoid all of the golden rings, cause they give out plenty of illegal coins. Oh, and for some reason, we can actually jump on those enemies as Plessie, and we get no coins, so I guess that's cool for us. But once again, there's just no logic with which enemies give out coins and which don't. 1-5 was actually very simple. It really doesn't feature any coins that are on our way. I was a bit concerned that by hitting all of those blue switches and defeating the enemies, we'd receive coins, but no, we don't. That's perfect. 1-Captain Toad is a fun little level where we have to collect a bunch of green stars while playing as the slow-moving Captain Toad. This dude sucks. He can't even jump. He's a complete joke. but also the level doesn't contain a single coin, so that was an easy stage where I got a bunch of green stars, which I can't really complain about. Time for 1-Castle, a level that starts with a bunch of green coins that appear to give out a green star. For some reason, I completely zoned out and collected them all, and then I was confused as to why I had so many coins collected. Small brain Nico, wake up! Obviously, we have to avoid all of these, duh! Luckily, the rest of the stage is actually very easy, and even the boss fight against Bowser was simple, as it doesn't feature a single coin. Yay! We did it! Time for us to move on to the next world. World 2-1 featured a couple annoying coins to dodge on these moving platforms, but it wasn't that bad. 2-2 was a bit spooky. It features a bunch of invisible coins and invisible blocks that could potentially be fatal to us. We also have to ride a bunch of platforms and use our little cursor to move others in order to reach the end. It was nerve-wracking, but possible. 2-3 introduces our best buddy Bob the Piranha Plant. And well, the guy will help us eat some enemies, and it doesn't poop coins, so he's actually the GOAT! During the 2D section, I had to do some precise jumps in between some coins, and also had to use fireballs to defeat this big plant, but I wasn't too bad. 2-4 features a very spooky section when you enter the cave through that pipe. There's a bunch of coins to avoid, and we have to use the cat suit to climb on walls and dodge everything, including those little enemies that want to jump and give you a yucky coin. 2-A is a fight level against 3 big Galoombas. Let's just use some fireballs and move on to 2-5, a cool level featuring the Double Cherry, a power-up that creates a bunch of clones of us. More clones equals more opportunities to collect some yucky coins. So as you can probably tell, I avoided this power-up like the plague. Thankfully, the level was simple. 2-Mystery Box was my next up, because I feel like this one could give us a bunch of green stars. And well, I was right. It does feature a bunch of enemies to burn using fireballs, and also a few coins to dodge, but it really wasn't that bad. It's time for 2-Tank, the final level of this world. And well, this one was hell on earth. It's an auto-scrolling level featuring a bunch of tanks with cannons that are shooting bullet bills. It's also full of wooden boxes. And as you can see right now, I'm doing nothing. And bada bing bada boom, I have a coin now. What? So here's the thing. If a bullet bill breaks a wooden box, you are rewarded with a coin. I guess we have to find a way to stop this bullet bill. And well, the way to do so is by using our little Mario cursor that appears when we press the R button. We can use that to stun the bullet bills and then wait for another one to collide into it and watch them both explode. That prevents us from getting coins. In theory, this is all well and easy, but in reality, it requires precise timing and actually a lot of skills. Once these bullet bills go out of the screen, they also sometimes hit the wooden box, and there's nothing you can do about it. So my strategy at this point was to stop the bullet bill for as long as I could, and then I just stood in front of the cannon and tanked the hit. That's so dumb and scary, but it seemed to work well. You have 2 wooden boxes to protect, and they're both in the first section. So if you manage to get to this part here with 0 coins, you should be good. Provided you don't mess up like an idiot like I did just right there. Oh my god, what was I doing? Anyways, after an hour of doing this crap, I finally managed to get to Boom Boom, defeated him, ran away from the center of the battle arena to dodge the coins, and finally beat this stage. Oh my gosh, never again, please! World 3-1 is a snow level full of ice, and on the ice there are yucky coins. I was afraid of sliding and collecting those coins, but by taking my sweet time, I made it to the end alive and free of coins. 3-2 was a bit tricky and featured some scary jumps in between gates, coins, and even beady bugs. It took me a while, but I managed to do it. 3-3 is a ghost house level that features a bunch of coins on very narrow pathways. It was a bit tough to avoid them all, especially when some of them are invisible and appear when you walk on them by accident. This truly was annoying, but eventually I made it to the end. 3-4 was a super short level that allows us to get 3 green stars really fast, so I kinda like it. 3-A is a fight against Magikoopas, so grab your fireballs and burn these guys. 3-5 is a super fun underwater level full of cheap cheeps and coins to dodge. Thankfully, being able to swim everywhere kinda makes it easy. 3-6 is the Mario Kart level where you run super fast and listen to an epic remix of Super Mario Kart's circuit theme. I really enjoyed this level a lot because of the music, and most of the coins are directly in the middle of the track, so by standing on the top or under them, we can easily clear the stage and get some green stars while we're at it. 3-7 features a very spooky section where we need to make a scary jump to a green arrow platform to dodge all of the coins hiding behind that waterfall. It was scary, but possible. 3-Train was a level full of bullet bills out there to kill you, but if we're only talking about coins, there weren't that many on our way, so it wasn't too bad. Just before we move on to the next world, we have to make a stop and fight my boy Histocrat. While you fight the guy, some yucky coins can appear on some plates, so let's just avoid those plates and we'll be good. World 4-1 was actually not too difficult. It contains a bunch of ants and we can just bounce on them without dealing damage, and thus without collecting coins. I had to make sure to defeat those 2 ants near the flagpole using a fire flower to avoid turning them into coins. 4-2 was actually quite tricky. It features a bunch of piranha plants and we often have to defeat them. The way to do so without collecting coins is obviously using a fire flower. The thing is, eventually I reach this part here. So many coins to avoid. I did try to swim in between them all, but nope, Mario is too tall, there is just no way. Going to the top path isn't really promising either. The only way I found to get through this part is to get hurt on purpose to turn into small Mario, and then we can swim in between the coins. Very tricky, but at least it makes this level possible. 4-A is a fight against some boulder guys. Use the fire flower and throw them in the lava. 4-3 was actually quite simple. It didn't really feature any coins that were tricky to dodge, so we're all good. 4-4 was easy up until the end part where we have to bounce on that mushroom platform. There's gonna be dozens of beady bugs flying over there, and well, there's just no way to avoid bouncing on them and receiving a coin. I had to use my fire flower to burn as many as I could, and then everything was okay. 4-5 was super simple, but make sure to defeat the spike enemy near the end flagpole to avoid collecting a yucky coin. 4-B was a simple fight against Fire Bros, so just give them a taste of their own medicine and you'll be good. Time for 4-Castle, which surprisingly was actually a very simple stage. It does feature a bunch of coins, but the paths are so wide and open that avoiding them all is just no challenge whatsoever. World 5-1 takes place on a beach and we have to collect a bunch of key tokens. Keep in mind, these are not coins, they are key tokens, so we're good. The Plessy part was a bit tricky and I couldn't jump on that creature here because of the coin ring, so I just bumped on it. 5-2 wasn't too difficult, up until this part. We are meant to enter the clear pipe, but as you can see, it's full of yucky coins. Thankfully, if we have a catsuit, well, we can just climb on the sides and avoid them all. Whew! I was missing a few green stars to unlock 5-3, so I went back and did a couple Captain Toad stages and mystery boxes. These levels are typically not too difficult and don't feature that many coins, which is why I'm not gonna go into detail describing my experience with them. 5-3 is another very small level where we can see the flagpole right from the start. As this level is so tiny, I had to make sure to defeat all of the enemies to avoid collecting a coin when grabbing the flagpole. 5-A is another charging chuck fight, So grab your fire flower and get down to business. 5-4 is up, and this one features a bunch of those ants enemies. Let's avoid them and get in that cannon to then run after some cute bunnies. After I made my way up the cannon, everything was good. There are no coins from now on, so let's just grab the flagpole, and that's easy. Alright, let's move on to the next... Wait a minute, what is that? I have 4 coins now? Wait, where did these come from? I clearly had 0 coins when I grabbed the flagpole. How is that possible? Well, my friends, here's the whole story. When we grab a flagpole and an enemy is close to it, it turns into a yucky coin that we collect. And as you can see, next to the flagpole, there's this platform here with 2 pipes that spawn some little ants. The thing is, we cannot break those pipes, and it doesn't matter how many ants we kill, there's always gonna be more coming out of the pipe. So basically, while the little flagpole animation and dance plays, those ants keep appearing out of the screen, and then they get killed instantly, they turn into coins, and we collect them. Yup, this is a broken system, and there's literally nothing I can do about it. Trust me, I did try a bunch of times, but I always end up with 4 coins. And that kinda sucks, cause in the Wii U version, I ended up having 2 coins at one point, but I could never replicate this on the Switch. So if you end up getting 2 coins instead of 4, just let me know, I just couldn't. Anyways, because of this badly designed level, we now have 4 yucky coins on the coin counter. Hopefully, these are the only coins we'll ever need. 5-5 was full of coins to dodge, and trust me, it was actually quite stressful. I had to do some crazy jumps, but I still managed to do it. 5-6 didn't feature that many coins, so it was quite simple to clear. 5-B is yet another Fire Bros rematch. These are getting a bit stale. 5-7 is kind of a scary level, because if you end up in one of those spotlights, a bunch of bullet bills will be shot your way, and well, you can't really defend yourself against them, because if you defeat them, you'll receive yucky coins. That level was super spooky, but it's okay. 5-Castle featured a bunch of coins throughout the stage, and it was a bit nerve-wracking, but by taking it slow, I managed to get to the boss fight and defeat it quite fast. Time for World 6-1, a level that was actually not too difficult. I did get scared a bit during this part with the cloud platforms and all of the yucky coins, but I still managed to get out alive and coinless. 6-2 featured a few coins on the narrow wooden planks, but it was easy. 6-3 was a tricky level, as it featured a bunch of Goombas, coins, and other hazards. Collecting all of these key tokens was actually pretty scary, as they often are very close to yucky coins. 6-4 featured a bunch of coins, but with my catsuit, I managed to climb, dive, and jump out of danger. 6-A was a simple fight against Prince Bully. Just avoid the circle of coins after he's dead, and you're gonna be good. 6-5 takes place in the snow, and there's a bunch of coins to avoid, but they're not too difficult. The real problem awaits at the end. There are 2 of these Typhus enemies standing really close to the flagpole. And as you can guess, if you grab it, it will eliminate them and give you 6 yucky coins. The thing is, there's just no way to defeat those guys. I tried using some power-ups, but no, it doesn't work. So this level is impossible. Luckily, it is located on a split path on the world map, so I decided to move to 6-6 right away. That one was way simpler, and the enemies at the end are Galoombas, which we can defeat using fireballs. So we're good, we can move on to the next stage. 6-7 featured so many evil fuzzies trying to eat me alive. I had to climb to the top while avoiding the few coins on the way, which seemed scary, but in reality it wasn't. I went to 6-mystery box to get some green stars, but I could only get the first 2 because the third one wants us to throw a baseball on this P-switch. And well, there's a bunch of evil coins protecting the switch. Oh well, time for 6-tank, a very slow auto-scroller level that thankfully doesn't feature wooden boxes with coins and bullet bills. So I quickly got to Boom Boom the Mad Lad and defeated him. just before we get to the next world, we have to make a quick stop in 6-C to fight Motley Bus Blob. The fight was simple, I just had to avoid the coins after dealing the final hit, and that was it. World Castle-1 is up, and it does feature a few coins in clear pipes preventing us from using them, but it's not too bad. Until I got to this one here. Those 2 coins are in the way, and I did try to avoid them, but I seem to collect them all the time. This is gonna be a problem, right? I decided to take it super slow, and I did some very tiny jumps, and it worked! Yeah, good! Castle-2 wasn't too bad, except the stupid annoying invisible coins that pop out of nowhere. I really hate those! Castle-3 is a super fast-paced level filled to the brim with speed panels that make avoiding coins quite challenging. I had to pick the right clear pipe to avoid the coins, and I had to avoid all of them at the end because they all bring you to platforms full of coins. A big cat jump will be needed to clear that gap, but it is possible. Castle-4 didn't really feature anything special, and I beat it in less than 3 minutes. Next up were 3 fight levels against mini bosses. And well, as long as I use a fire flower and avoid the coins that appear after these guys die, nothing can go wrong. Castle-5 was super easy, as there are not many dangerous yucky coins on the way to the flagpole. Castle-6 was a pretty scary underwater level filled to the brim with coins. Normally, you have to hide near those coins to avoid the swimming enemies, but I managed to avoid doing that and reach the end of it. Uh-oh, 3 enemies close to a flagpole. Guess we have to get rid of them. Uh-oh, the fireballs don't deal damage. Well, I guess we will be collecting some yucky coins when grabbing the flagpole. Or not? So, these enemies explode, but they don't give out yucky coins? Man, this game's logic makes no sense at all. But for the sake of this quest, cool! Still, what are the rules with this game? They're not simple! Castle-7 was actually not too bad. I mean, sure, there's a lot of lava and a couple of coins to dodge while making our way to the end, but by being careful, I managed to beat it without any issues. Time for Castle-Castle, the final level. And well, to be honest, it wasn't difficult at all. The boss fight against his car didn't feature a single coin, so it didn't take long before I defeated him and beat the game! Oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Bowser is not dead? And he captured all of the little Sprixies back and fled to a new world? Well, I didn't see that one coming! That's a joke, I've been playing this game like 100 times already, so I knew it was coming. Anyways, we still have one final world to explore, and it's a very cool looking one too, I should say. World Bowser-1 features a lot of spiky platforms out to get you, but luckily, in terms of coins, it's not too bad. I dodged a few ones on my way and was done with it in a jiffy. Bowser-2 is a Plessy level, and I'm not gonna lie, that one was actually quite challenging. Controlling Plessy while avoiding the coins and coin rings was very challenging, and I died many times, but eventually I beat it, so we're good! Bowser-3 was a real pain in the butt. Seriously, this level is full of traps. There are coins near the green stars, coins in the clear pipes, enemies all over the place, and well, it was just a very annoying stage to be honest. I had to do some crazy jumps to avoid entering the first clear pipe, and then I had to defeat all of the enemies using the fireballs, and then wait for the coins to despawn. Near the end, there's another clear pipe, but make sure not to enter it cause it's full of coins. Seriously, I spent way too long on that level raging about the stupid coins that were thrown my way, but eventually I beat it. Thankfully, Bowser-Train was actually super simple, and all of the coins are super easy to see and avoid, and that's exactly what I needed after that last level. Bowser-4 was also super simple, and there's practically no dangerous coins to avoid. Bowser-5 starts off with having us swim up these water bubbles, but as you can see, there are multiple coin rings and no way to dodge them. This one is just impossible. But who cares, as it is located on a split path again, so we can just move on to the next level. Bowser-6 is full of Peepas that we have to destroy using the big light bugs, and when we do that, they drop yucky coins. I had to be extremely cautious of where these would land to make sure to be able to avoid them all, but thankfully, this level was possible. Bowser-7 was a tricky stage, but not because of the coins, just because of those big rotating blocks that we have to stand on in order to reach the end of the stage. Anyways, it's now time for 2 boss fight rematches, and as you can probably tell by now, these were not that different from last time. Beat the bosses, dodge the yucky coins that appear, and grab the flagpole. I was missing a few green stars to get to the final level, so I visited Bowser-Mystery House and got 10 easy green stars. I mean, sure, there's a few coins to dodge, but it's very simple. I then got more green stars from the Captain Toad levels, and now it's time for us to visit the final level. Bowser-Castle is our final stop of the day, and the level in itself was actually super easy. And now it's time for the Meowser fight, and there's a few coins on our way to the top, but they can all easily be dodged. So after hitting the POW block 4 times, Meowser is gone, and the world is saved! Well, we did it! It wasn't simple, but everything is good now. Is it possible to beat Super Mario 3 World without touching a single coin? No, it isn't. And well, it's so stupid because the only level that forces us to collect coins is because of a dumb technicality with the game. Like, I actually never touched the coins. I was just given the coins for no reason at all. It's a bit frustrating, but deep down in my heart, I still see this challenge as a win. What about you? Do you think the challenge is a success or a failure? Let me know in the comment section down below, and make sure to subscribe for more challenge videos like this one in the future. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!